Okay, hello. I'm Bunny Says, and we're back again. And we're right back. I just got a little sip of water and waited for a pretty noisy helicopter to go by. So let's sit back and continue on. Now we're in the palace throne room, and it says, "It is the day of the ball, and I am waiting for Emmeline to finish her last dance rehearsal. The lesson was over an hour ago, but Emmeline remains here to continue practicing the steps. Meanwhile, I am preoccupied with thoughts of Rod's curse. I cannot believe that Rod traded his voice for a title. So the reason the king was able to find a failure was because of Rod? It is a little difficult to wrap my head around the implications, but one thing bothers me. Rod told me why he has the curse, but he gave no explanation as to how to break it. How did it go in the original fairy tale? You know, I think I remember The Little Mermaid, and I think I remember it being, like, really bad. I don't think I remember The Little Mermaid being very happy at all. Not the Disney version of it, the actual original fairy tale. As a matter of fact, I think I remember it being pretty gruesome. Okay. Emmeline finishes up the last steps of her routine before walking over to me. I hand her the glass of water I was holding for her. Thank you, Lucette. Emmeline must notice my curiosity because she stops to look at me quizzically. Is something the matter? I read a little bit of that fairy tale. But never finished it. Can you tell me the whole story of The Little Mermaid? The Little Mermaid? Emmeline takes a seat on one of the chairs bordering the throne room and gestures for me to take the one opposite her. Telling a fairy tale is always a good way to wind down. Okay, here we go. Once upon a time, there was a mermaid that fell in love with a handsome prince. One day, she swam to the surface of the ocean to find him. She saw that the prince was celebrating his birthday on the grandest ship in the kingdom. The little mermaid was captivated by the human party and stayed to watch. Then suddenly, a violent storm hit, and the prince was thrown from the ship into the ocean. The little mermaid saved the prince and took him safely to shore, but she could not stay long. She eventually had to return to the ocean and leave him on land. This is similar to Viorica's rescue. The little mermaid was so in love with the prince that she went to see a witch, who offered to trade her a potion that would turn her mermaid's tail into legs. They struck a deal. The mermaid would sacrifice her beautiful voice for legs, so that she could live with the prince on land. So in Rod's case, he traded away his voice to become a prince. Emmeline. However, the sea witch gave the little mermaid a warning and said that if she wasn't able to make the prince fall in love with her, there would be consequences. Consequences? Yes. Namely, if the prince fell in love and married someone else, the mermaid's heart would break, and she would dissolve into sea foam. Oh, God. I could not help but recoil. My expression must betray my horror because Emmeline quickly shakes her head. There's no need to be worried. Rod has said that this curse is different from the fairy tale. Oh, and you believe him? Emmeline shrugs helplessly as she puts down her now empty glass of water. The fairy tale curse always twists the original fairy tale, right? Besides, it's not as if Rod traded his voice for his voice for legs, and I've never heard of a cursed person that dies because they cannot break their curse. That may be true, but Emmeline does not know what Rod traded his voice for. She does not know that he did it to become a prince for Viorica. Rod is already hiding things from her. Is it possible that Rod will die the very day Viorica marries Desmond? Desmond. Okay, I thought his name was Desamond, but okay. Maybe it was supposed to be Desmond the whole time. I don't know. Well, okay. Later that day, was I pronouncing it wrong this whole time? Did it actually say? I'm almost positive it's Desamond, but okay. Later that day, I find Rod in the dining hall. He appears to be inspecting the seating arrangements for the night's banquet. He glances up briefly to look at me before returning his attention to the placards with the guests' names on them. What is it? I have been looking for you all morning. I am distracted from what I am about to say when I notice Rod switching the position of two placards. I frown as I catch the name on one of them. He is moving Viorica's place at the table. Is he trying to make sure she sits as far away from him as possible? Surely you have better things to do than stay in here. What happens if you cannot break your curse? Rod's movements stutter before he shakes his head sharply. That is something you do not need to know. Okay, now I have a choice. Plead with him or get angry at him. Plead with him. Yeah, I've been super nice to him so far, and he's been mean. So, you know what? I think now is the time to get angry at him. So, that's enough. We've put up with a lot, and he's been hiding a great deal, and he is not responding to being nice when we're nice to him, or just trying to be patient with him. So, I think now's the time to get angry. So, that's it. We're getting angry. Rod's coldness grates at me, and I find myself snapping at him. What is wrong with you? Excuse me? All I am doing is trying to help you break your curse, but you are acting as if I am trying to help. Trying to help you will only make things worse. As if am I trying to help you? Okay. No, I am only insisting that I do not need your help. We are partners, Rod. I know that doesn't seem to mean much to you, but it means something to me. I intentionally soften my tone when I realize that I have been shouting at him. You should let me help you. What for? Just because you somehow managed to get two good deeds on your own doesn't mean you can help me at all, Lucette. Frustration courses through me as I clench my hands into fists. Why must he be so stubborn? Is he so certain that I will not be able to help him at all? Emmeline told me the story of the Little Mermaid. She said that the mermaid dies if the prince marries someone else. Rod, when Viorica marries Desamond, yeah, see, his name is Desamond there. Will you... My voice trails off when I hear the sound of the door behind us. Oh, somebody's coming in here. Is it Ophelia or the king? Rod rushes forward and grabs me before I can glance back at the door. Ow. Whoa, what's going on here? I become aware of a weight holding me down to the floor. The impact of the ground against my head blurs my vision, making it impossible for me to see what is happening at first. What the hell's going on? Okay. Am I underneath the dining table? I struggle to try and sit up, but the weight pushes down on me again, forcing me to be still. Rod. Quiet. Rod. Why did he push me underneath the table? I am about to ask him aloud when the sound of footsteps silences me. I cannot help but remember what Sir Mithras was saying about rumors. If Rod and I were seen alone together by the servants, the rumors no doubt will no doubt get worse. But why is Rod doing this? I stay quiet as the people that enter the dining hall begin to talk. Voice. How strange for this place to be empty at this time of day. There is a pause, and then another voice speaks up. You better have good news for me, Mithras. Sir Alcaster and Sir Mithras? Rod's hands tighten on my shoulders. Mithras. Everything is as you requested, Sir Alcaster. There should be no issues. Alcaster. There better not be. You've disappointed me before, Mithras. I will be careful not to try my patience again. Mithras. Yes, Sir Alcaster. Lucette. Sir Mithras sounds oddly subservient. But why? The two of them are both ranked equally, and neither of them should have to answer to anyone other than the king. Unless Sir Alcaster truly is the witch, and is forcing Sir Mithras to obey him with a spell. Alcaster. Wait a few minutes after I leave. We should not be seen together. I do not hear Sir Mithras respond, but I can hear Sir Alcaster leaving the room. Sir Mithras sighs out, but is otherwise silent when he leaves the room after a few moments. I exhale fully as the door finally closes behind Sir Mithras. Rod, this is bad. I was so engrossed in Sir Alcaster and Sir Mithras, Mithras' conversation, that I only just now realized that Rod is hovering over me. Oh, what a nice picture of Rod. Okay. Rod, hey, are you alright? Are you hurt? Okay. You look a little... Rod suddenly pauses as he notices our positions. He stares at me for a few moments, eyes wide. Okay, we're back in the dining hall again. He scrambles out from underneath the dining table, and by the time I do the same, he is standing far away from me, his gaze fixed on the wall. He is bright red. It would be funny if I weren't sure I was the same color. She is, so in their two portraits, they're both blushing. Rod clears his throat. Rod, it seems that Sir Alcaster really is the witch if he has the ability to make Sir Mithras obey him. Lady Parfait should be told immediately. Rod turns on his heel to leave the dining room. Rod, wait. What? This is urgent, Princess. I can't just... When Viorica marries Desamond, will you die? Rod pauses for a moment, but I can tell from his pained expression that He will not speak. Sebi. Okay, his little bunny, Sebi, is speaking. You're running out of time, Rod. My eyes flit between Sebi and Rod. What does that mean? Nothing. He turns away from me once again and starts walking away. Running away solves nothing, Rod. You don't want to talk. Telling you about my curse won't change anything. The outcome will always be the same. Leave it alone, Lucette. It's for the best. I cannot help but get mad at Rod's dismissive tone. I move toward him, frowning. How can you say something like that? You're not the only person that will be affected if you keep refusing to do anything to break your curse. Can you imagine what your death would do to your sister? To your mother? Losing you would destroy them. Rod's face is suddenly inches away from mine. He places his hands to the wall behind me, caging me in. His face is flushed with anger, but the look in his eyes is tormented. My family has been dealing with the consequences of my actions for the majority of my life. Don't think that I don't know what effect my curse has on the people closest to me. Besides, I don't want to involve you in this too. His voice is a whisper, but I can still hear his words. Rod. Rod pushes away from me and stalks off as I stare after him. Now, I just want to reflect for a second. I guess Rod does have a point. I mean, he did that curse, and now his entire family's lives have been changed. His sister is now princess, and his mother is queen, and in there, it's much different for them. So he actually did really have an effect on their lives as well as his own. So he does have a point in that regard. Okay. Lucette, he says that, but then he still does nothing to try to break his curse. I do not understand him at all. What is stopping him? Okay. We're in the palace hallway. It's evening now. Well, let's think about this for a minute. If he breaks his curse, I don't know. Well, definitely his mother and sister will be affected. And, well, I don't know. I mean, well, I guess that's sort of rough, really, if you think about it. I mean, he'll be happy to break his curse. He wants to get Viorica to fall in love with him, so he'll be happy, but then, possibly his sister and mother will be very unhappy. Well, maybe Emily might not be that unhappy. She'll probably still be happy. She might even like it better going back to a regular person and not a noble person. But the mother will, lose presumably the king will no longer be in love with the mother. Well, maybe he will. I mean, maybe it'll turn out right, so. But, for him not to be prince, then the mother and father would have to break up, and, well, his mother would be hurt, so. Well, I don't know. he's in a bad position. I mean, it would be nice if he could let everyone be okay with what's going on, but not. Maybe he'd be heartbroken, but it would be nice if he didn't have to die for it, you know? Well, okay, let's go on and let's continue. Again, we're in the hallway, it's evening, and it says, Rod is absent from the palace for the rest of the day and returns only once the sun has set to prepare for the ball. Yeah, you know what, and now that thinking back on it, when the conversation between Sir Alcaster and Sir Methros sounds like they're going to do something at the ball. So, I don't think it's going to go well. I have not been able to talk to him since, but I assume that he has been to the Marchen to tell Delora and Parfait about our suspicions of Sir Alcaster being a witch. I hope they come up with an effective plan for dealing with him. The palace is not safe, so long as he is here. The ball is just about to start that evening, and I have been asked to make sure none of the guests are lost in wandering the hallways. Okay. I've been walking around for a while, directing any late guests in the right direction. Okay, that should be everyone. But as I turn the corner, I notice two people lingering by a column. Excuse me, the throne room is... I pause when I look more closely at the two men in front of me. I recognize one of them instantly. Oh, crap. It's Sir Alcaster and... Now, there's a man in a black cloak, black clothes, a wolf's head cane, and a black mask with black hair. He's the guy I keep on affectionately calling Tuxedo Mask, but I know him from the previous stories as Varg. So I think we're going to find out who he is right now. So, Lucette, what is Sir Alcaster doing outside the throne room? And who's that man he's with? Alcaster. Ah, Lucette. Sir Alcaster gestures me toward him, and I approach warily. This is Varg. He's one of the guests for the ball. Varg sweeps aside his cape as he bows, and I curtsy and dip my head to hide my expression. I have not heard of a Varg, and why would he be bowing to a mere maid? That's a good point. Also, why is he wearing such an elaborate costume and mask? This is not a masquerade ball. If Varg is an acquaintance of Sir Alcaster, there is no telling what or who he truly is. Alcaster. Varg is one of the suitors for Princess Emmeline. Would you please escort him to the throne room? I will be along shortly. Varg's politeness is even more suspicious. Of course. Sir Alcaster. I meet Varg's gaze briefly, and I cannot help but frown at the way he is smirking at me. Yeah, he is. Who said, "This way." Varg and I make our way toward the throne room. I cannot help but feel wary of the fact that he is following behind me, where I cannot see him. That's also suspicious. A nobleman would never just follow behind some maid. He would always walk beside her, or ahead of her. Varg. couldn't walk ahead of her since she's directing him, so... But he would certainly walk beside her. Varg. If the maids are this lovely, the princess must be truly beautiful. Varg laughs, and I grit my teeth at the sound. What? It was meant as a compliment. There's no reason to look at me like that. Varg looks at me curiously. A maid's not allowed to speak in this place? I have nothing to say. Not the most cheerful person on the staff, are you? Thankfully, the doors to the throne room appear as soon as we turn a corner, and I do not have to come up with a response to his words. We are here. I gesture toward the throne room and move to leave, but Varg's voice stops me. You should at the very least escort me inside and introduce me to the princess, don't you think? Isn't that what a maid should do? Technically, that is the announcer's job. Well, that's right, there would be some announcer guy who would scream out his title and name and whatever. Okay. Technically, that is the announcer's job, but Varg came so late, he probably already missed the introductions. Varg. I wouldn't want to think badly of any of the servants at the palace. I take a deep breath to calm myself down before turning toward the doors. Follow me. Now, I assume Lucette is trying to pretend to be a maid as much as possible, so... Otherwise, I would assume she would just be, like, mad and angry. But I think she's trying her best to try to pretend she's a maid, so... Okay, we're in the throne room. This file is getting on towards 30 minutes. Okay, we have a few minutes. I'll go for a few minutes. Okay, we're in the throne room. I could tell the moment I step into the room that the official introductions have already passed. Most of the guests have already begun to mingle and scatter across the throne room as the band sets up. No one notices when I walk into the throne room in front of Varg. I do not trust Varg, not if he is associated with Sir Alcaster. Oh God, okay, we have a choice here. You know what? I think we will stop the file here. And, she says, I might have time to warn someone about him while he is distracted, but who? Now we could warn Rod or warn Emmeline. Let's think about this for a moment. If what would I get? I guess what would be the point of warning Emmeline? I mean, Varg isn't going to suddenly, like, jump on her and try to grab her and kidnap her right in front of everybody, so he'll probably just try to be charming and whatever. And plus, Emmeline really doesn't know what's going on. I would obviously have to warn Rod. I think I should, but then I'm not sure what Rod could do. Well, at least he would be wary of what's going on. He knows what's going on, and he would be more attentive and more careful of Varg, knowing that he's with Sir Alcaster. Now, Emmeline knows nothing about Sir Alcaster and Sir Mithros, so unless that's exactly what Varga's going to do, unless that's exactly what he wants, is he wants to get up close to Emily to grab her and kidnap her or something. So, but we're going to leave a little cliffhanger here, and we're going to stop now. So, should I warn now? Should I warn Emmeline? I mean, what would I tell her? You know, this is Varg. Be careful of him. He's going to try to kidnap you. You know. Yeah, I guess we would have to warn Rod. So, okay, well, I'm going to be mean here and just leave it on a little cliffhanger, because I think something's going to happen at this ball. I know it. Yeah, the way Sir Alcaster and Sir Mithras were plotting. So, okay, so let's stop here, and this has been Bunny Says, and I hope you had a nice time listening to this, and I hope you have a nice day, or evening, or sleep, or afternoon, or whatever is left for you, whatever is left of the day or night for you, and keep warm and cozy, and goodbye. So I'll see you soon.